Alrighty guys, we're back for another vlog. Car's all packed up. And so for this project, we're filming with a early education private school. There's a couple locations in the city. I was contracted to be the DP by my friend Joe from the Personal Press. So building up camera, as you could see, working with my buddy Joe, who is a producer and director from the Personal Press, my homie Jake, who's another fellow DP and camera operator, and my friend Maria, who is sound mixing today. First thing I like to do when we're doing interviews, let's scout out all of the different locations that we could use. We opted for this space that was like kind of like a play space for the kids, but this was the biggest space that they had. There was also some nice colors and textures, muted, earth tony kind of look. So I said, let's go with this. I recently picked up this, maybe it's like 4x6 feet or 6x6, I'm not sure, but some bleached muslin. I've been using that in addition to my light dome just to, kind of create some more diffusion in my shots. Also just creating a bigger source in general. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the looks that we are getting. It's always a process setting up a bunch of different things. The company wanted to get a photo before they got started, so I was like, yep, let's do it. 720p light dome, bleached muslin. We have the B200 doing our ambient exposure in the room. We also put the 300B on a projector mount to kind of create this fake sort of window light out of frame. Thought that came out pretty cool. Then we have the Amaran T4, no, it's a Nanlite Pavotude, but with the Amaran T4C barn doors. And then so for cameras, we're doing FX6 and FX3. My FX6 has the 35mm f1.4, which I've talked about before. It's my favorite lens for interviews for a camera. And then my FX3 is 70-200. So Maria laving up our first talent. Usually the sound mixer will put a lav hidden on the talent, and then we have an overhead mic. And back with the GoPro BTS. It's kind of showing different angles. I think this came out pretty good. Joe was doing all the questions. Talked about doing teleprompter. We opted not to do it, but this was just kind of at the end. All right, let's make sure we get these points. And then so you could see the shot. I'm really happy with this. We have like a nice soft light source, a good fall off. The projector mount looks really good. The ambient exposure in the room is nice. You can see that hair light popping in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy with this look. And so for these interviews, I've been loving these Freewell magnetic filters. I'm using the circular polarizer. I was told they're going to be running a sale for Prime Day on Amazon or their website. So check that out. I'll leave a link below. First, we actually just reused the same look. We had to do 8 interviews this day. So we kind of decided, I think we did 4 different looks and then 2 interviews per look. Also, I figured, since I was working closely with Joe, he's a good friend of mine, I figured let's get him involved and let's hear from Joe, producer of this project.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Joe, and I was the producer and partial director of this project. A little bit of info on this shoot. This was for a premium daycare school in Manhattan, of which has 5 locations and maybe opening more soon. It lends itself to just really beautiful long lens cinematography and really interesting interviews. Another pretty cool thing, the style is a very European inspired education process, and it's very worldly. And because of that, we did additional interviews in multiple languages, including Spanish.
El niño tiene diferentes maneras de expresarse, no solamente verbalmente.
Greek.
Η πρόσβαση σε όλο τον κόσμο στην προσχολική εκπαίδευση.
And French.
À l'enfant, c'est comme ça que votre enfant va développer de la meilleure manière possible quand on travaille ensemble.
And this was super cool. We did 2 days of shooting on this project, where one day was completely dedicated to the interviews and the other day completely dedicated to the B-roll. And I have to say, that was an excellent decision. Plus, I can't even imagine if we combined these 2 days into one, that would have been just absolutely crazy. Oh my God. And for this, I thank Mr. Waldman and the rest of the crew for curing my anxiety. Thank you, John. Much appreciated, as always.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate the kind words. It was always great working with you, brother. Everyone go check out his stuff. I'll link it above. Loving that EL zone on the Small HD Ultra 5. It's a really nice exposure tool. Then we did a quick swap. This one I didn't like as much. I mean, this is, so I also had the conversation with Joe, like, hey, is this first interview the most important? And I think if I remember correctly, he said it was. So I'm like, all right, we're going to give this the best look. So we flipped this around. We also used it twice. I think it looked solid, but again, I like the other one better. Also, I think that maybe the projector mount came out a little bit crooked. I don't know. Anyways, loving that roller stand. It's literally probably one of my favorite things I've bought in a very long time. It just makes my life so much easier. And then we had another room. This one I really, really liked a lot. I thought it looked really friggin' clean. There was like these little lights that were in the room, and so we're just like, screw it, let's use them as practicals. So the doors have these big windows, and right outside is the windows, so we're kind of getting this like really cool natural light coming through the window. I thought it looked great. And so what I did for this setup, at first I noticed she was a little bit close to kind of the edge of that wall. So just between questions, I moved my camera a little bit. I think this is a really nice shot. I mean, the light is so soft. I love how the colors came out. This whole look is just very vibrant, which I think works very well for the client's brand. Again, this is like one of my favorite setups I've had, and I feel like I could definitely notice a difference with this bleached muslin. It's definitely helped creating a nice soft source. And so we did reuse the look again. This one I like. I don't like it as much. It feels a little bit dark also. Every room's going to be different. Usually, maybe we'll start with turning the lights off and seeing what we could bring in. Some of those scenarios, sometimes it's too dark and I don't have the output to compensate. So usually what I do is bounce a light off the ceiling. I feel like this one could use a little bit more pop. Also, I was having a hard time with this reflection, even with a polarizer. Maybe it was just like a little bit of grease or something. So it was lunchtime and we sat at the kids' table and took a really funny photo. And then, so we wrapped for interviews for that part of the day. So then it was just me and Joe for the rest of the day. Jake and Maria got to go home because all we really needed was one gimbal camera. Didn't need a second camera. Didn't need sound, so we sent them home. And yeah, this was nice. Just, my FX3 kind of doing real estate style walkthrough stuff. Besides, this being, I believe, like a 1 to 2 minute promotional video for their business. They were also wanted some like kind of video tour stuff. I have a decent amount of experience doing real estate work. I used to do it a lot more, not really anymore, but it's kind of fun to bring those chops out again. Just rocking FX3, 16 to 35, and an RS3 Pro. I don't know if I've showed this off yet. This is my new toolbox or tool workbench kind of thing. This is literally probably one of my favorite things I've ever bought. It is so sick. The organization's amazing. Just having a dedicated workspace, so much fun. I think at some point I'll make kind of like a NYC filmmaker apartment tour sort of thing. And then so the second day was cool. It was just B-roll for the most part. Just handheld on the SAC, FX3, 70 to 200. Long lens stuff when you're, just trying to capture faces. And also it's nice when you're not super up close, right? And they don't even realize you're filming. So it's great for like a documentary setting. And also the cool thing about this, so this was back on the Upper East Side. I lived there until I was 10. And then my family, we moved to Long Island. So it's kind of like a full circle moment. There's me literally in front of a place I used to live when I was a kid. So pretty cool being back. I feel like we got some really good stuff, and Joe told me that he already edited the video. The client's really happy. And then I guess here I'll just kind of show you. Here's the rig. So I have like these small rig handles on the RS3 Pro. Since the Ultra 5 doesn't take battery, or I'd have to get like a special plate to then put a V-mount on the back. That monitor is already so beefy, I don't want to do that. So I just got like a mini Tilta V-mount plate that I put the small rig 50 watt hour battery on, and then just run a Limo to D-tap cable. It works really nice. Calibration. There's Joe getting some reps on the rig. And then Adam was assisting today doing photography. Good vibes all around. And so yeah, that's about it. I know it was a quick one, but just wanted to share this because it was a cool and fun project. More vlogs are coming. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already.